Right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Property Subcommittee today, Wednesday, the 3rd of May, 2023. The first item on the agenda is apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies?
No apologies.
Second item is declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? For the record, none being indicated. Third item is minutes of the meeting held on the 5th of April 2023. Can I have those approved as a correct record of the meeting? Thank you, Councillor DeVille. They are moved. Fourth item on the agenda is the sale of property at Hassel Street, Newcastle-under-Lyme. Councillor DeVille.
Thank you, Leader, and good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to thank the officers, Alan, for bringing this report and this paperwork to committee so quickly. Having had detailed discussions with the officers and the trustees of the association, I said at the time that I really wanted to see a satisfactory conclusion to this matter. We're here today at committee, and my desire is still exactly the same, that I wish to conclude this matter in a satisfactory manner. I'm going to bring Ian Turner in if he has anything to add, Leader, if I may, and then you can bring in other officers to discuss this, and then I'd like to wrap this up, please.
Mr. Turner.
Thank you. There is an increased offer from Tri-Services from the ones we've traditionally had for purchase of the property. It is slightly less than the £100,000 that was in the original lease to them when they first took the lease of the property, and hence it is noted as an undervalue transaction, and that's why it's coming here. We are proposing an overage so that the undervalue is protected for a period of time while the local benefits are delivered or continue to be delivered to the community. And I would just like to point one thing out for clarity, that the appendix, which is the background to the charity, does have reference to the £40,000 they offered the council in 2017. So I'd just like to clarify that isn't the current offer. That was the offer that was in 2017, and the document is there because it supports the undervalued transaction in terms of demonstrating the good work that they do for the local community. Thank you.
Thank you. To be clear, that the offer value is in the recommendations, so that is explicit in the documentation. Legal.
There's no comments from legal, as it's got the benefit of the overage. That satisfies the undervalue, as Ian has just said.
Thank you. Valuation.
The only comment I would make is that it's quite difficult to have an overage clause on a building because it's difficult. You've got to set the valuation, the parameters quite carefully in terms of how you value it in the future when it comes to be sold. But it can be worded, but it's just quite be a fair amount of work for my colleague sitting to my left.
That's what they're here for. Finance.
Nothing to add to the information contained in the report, Chair.
We have the benefit of the local member in the room, Councillor Stephen Sweeney from Newcastle South. Councillor Sweeney, at this point in the proceedings, we invite the local member to say a few words before we open it up to committee discussion. Do you have any comments?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. The Tri-Services it's been there for sort of 8 or 9 years now, and it's a very valuable item in Newcastle. There's a lot of ex-servicemen and women, if it comes to that, and the base that they use at the Tri-Service Centre, it's in the middle of town. It's accessible to the bus station, but it's not in full view of everybody. And I think ex-servicemen rather like the not secrecy, the discreet way in which they go there, and nobody needs to know who they are. Hassel Street's a fairly sort of side street. It's got parking there. The service is very, very happy to use it. I think I'd like to thank the officers. I'd like to thank the council actually for coming to this extremely sensible compromise. And I think I totally support the settlement as it is now. And long may the Tri-Service Centre continue doing the good work for our ex-servicemen and women some of whom live in Newcastle, and of course with Stafford enlarging all the time, there'll be more. So I absolutely support this, and thank you very much for the attention you've been given.
Thank you. To members of the committee, any observations? No, can I just say, can I add my thanks, Councillor DeVille, to yourself, and because I know you went to visit the centre, and also to the officers involved with the discussions about this. I did meet with some of the tri-service representatives outside this building a while back. I got a clear sense of their motivation and their desire to move on from this once the sale was agreed. And it's a testament to your powers of negotiation, Councillor DeVille, that you were able to come to a resolution on this. And I thank you for all your efforts, and particularly the personal attention that you paid to this. I think this is a fair and reasonable settlement. It allows everybody to move on. It allows the tri-services to look forwards, and I hope they do so with optimism and vigour. Councillor DeVille, back to you, and once you've concluded, read the recommendations, please.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you for your kind comments. It's been an example of really good communication, good, positive dialogue, and it's a good example of the way that partners can work together, the way that this has been. We've got thus far in the spirit of partnership between Staffordshire County Council and the officers of the association. I'd very much valued Councillor Stephen Sweeney's input into this, his local knowledge, the fact that he knows the officers very well, and he has been really positive and helpful in this procedure, Chairman. I've seen firsthand when I've met at the centre the good work that the officers do at Hassel Street, and I think more importantly I've seen firsthand how the work that they do can really benefit people's lives, and I've seen examples of the work that they've done have really benefited the lives of people who use the centre. So I'm delighted that we're here today, Chairman, and we'll now present two recommendations, please. Firstly, that the property is sold to Tri-Services veterans for £85,000 with an overage clause for 50% of any uplift in value should the property be sold within 20 years. And secondly, Chairman, the final details of this transaction be delegated to the Assistant Director for Commercial and Assets. They are the two recommendations today, Chairman.
You've heard the recommendations. All those in favour? For the record, that is unanimous. Thank you very much indeed. Next item is the exclusion of the public. I move that the public be excluded from the meeting for the following exempt items of business which involve the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in the paragraphs of Part 1 of Schedule 12A as amended of the Local Government Act 1972 as indicated below.